Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-22 win over the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football in week number 6. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button if you did enjoy, or if you do enjoy these types of videos, and leave your thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. I just want to say, I was incredibly close with my final score prediction of this game. I guessed 31-21. The final score was 28-22. You know, I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back on that one. Not a bad prediction. But the Buccaneers win. They move on to 5-1 as the Eagles fall to 2-4. And overall, this was a very complete game by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that really shouldn't have been as close as it was. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but let's first talk about the good things that happened in this game, because I do think there were a lot of good things in this game. First things first, Tom Brady, 34 of 42, 297 passing yards, just a couple yards short of that 300 mark, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. A pretty good day overall from Tom Brady. Did he miss a couple of throws? Sure he did. One of those we'll talk about in a little bit, which was a nitpick to be fair. But overall, Tom Brady had a pretty darn good game, in my opinion. I was happy with what he did in the game. One of his favorite targets in this game may surprise some of you. It was O.J. Howard. He finally got going again in this game. 7 targets, 6 receptions for 49 yards, and a touchdown. I do not remember the last time O.J. Howard scored a touchdown. It feels like it's been ages. It probably hasn't been. But regardless, it felt really good to see O.J. Howard go out there and get a lot of these opportunities and capitalize on those opportunities. Hopefully this means some more action, some more targets for him going forward, even after Rob Gronkowski is brought back from his injury, because it could be a very good way to give some relief from Rob Gronkowski and spread the targets around a little bit. So I'm, hey, clapping for O.J. Howard there, because that was just a very awesome thing to see with him still recovering from his Achilles injury that he suffered last year. The guy who got targeted the most in the entirety of the Buccaneers receiving core today was Antonio Brown. 13 total targets. He turned it into 9 receptions for 93 yards and a touchdown. Antonio Brown continues to have a really good year. I think he's on pace for 1,000 yards. Him and Mike Evans have been taking turns having great games. Sometimes they have great games together. Unfortunately, Mike Evans was a little bit more quiet in this game today, but Antonio Brown picked up the slack, 93 yards and a touchdown. Good job, Antonio Brown. That was a great thing to see. The star of the offense, however, in my opinion, he is the game MVP, is Leonard Fournette. 22 carries, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns for Leonard Fournette, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 46 yards. Fournette had himself a day. He really did. I mean, Fournette played awesome in this game. It was a great thing to see. They're continuing to run more with Leonard Fournette. They're continuing to pass more with Leonard Fournette. And I'm going to be honest, they're using Leonard Fournette right now in this Buccaneers offense like what we saw Bruce Arians use David Johnson back in his heyday with the Arizona Cardinals. We're seeing similar veins there of usage. Hopefully it continues, because it seems like Fournette is up to the task. He is continuing to earn more and more opportunities. We saw very little of Ronald Jones. I believe he had 5 carries, maybe 2 targets. Ronald Jones had a decent game as well, so shout out to him. But we also saw only sprinklings of Jones and Bernard. It was mainly Fournette most of the way, and it seems like he is earning those opportunities with the great play he has had the past 3 weeks. So shout out to Leonard Fournette. He is the game MVP in my opinion. Finally, the last guy I want to give a shout out to on offense is going to be Chris Godwin. 5 targets, 5 receptions for 43 yards. A very solid game in his own right. Turned all of his targets into receptions. I think that is awesome. Good job, Chris Godwin. Now we move to the defensive side of the football, and the first guy I've got to mention, holy cow, What a game by Jamel Dean. He was thrust into the #1 cornerback role due to unfortunate circumstances, which, don't you worry, we're going to talk about that in a minute here, but Jamel Dean played a great game. He had 0 tackles, which means they weren't targeting him a ton, and when they did, Jamel Dean was batting the ball away. 4 passes defended by Jamel Dean, and he got an interception. This may have been one of the, honestly guys, besides one bad play that we'll talk about in a little bit, this may have been one of the best Jamel Dean games I've ever seen. I'm not even joking when I say that. Like, this genuinely did look like one of the better Jamel Dean games we have ever seen. Minus the 1 penalty he had. Again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Jamel Dean played lights out. And in a time where we need some guys to step up in the secondary, Jamel Dean had a really, really good game. Shaq Barrett was also on fire in this game today. 5 tackles, a half sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hit. Shaq Barrett really should have had like 3 sacks in this game, but Jalen Hurts is a very elusive mobile quarterback, and unfortunately, Shaq Barrett couldn't wrap him up and take him down a couple of times, but he still did get a half sack. We'll go ahead and say good job to him for that. And overall, he was providing pressure on a lot of snaps in this game. I think that he is returning to form. He is looking like the Shaq Barrett of old, and it's a really good thing to see, guys. Get excited because it seems like Shaq Barrett is coming back in full force. Another guy who kind of had a bounce back game was actually Devin White. 5 tackles, 1 pass defended, and a quarterback hit, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, Devin White, in my opinion, did a very good job of limiting the damage that Jalen Hurts was able to do with his running ability, with his mobility. That's where the speed in the pursuit of Devin White is so stinking valuable, because I think it did play a very large role in what Jalen Hurts was able to do, or I guess not do, in his running mobility game. So shout out to Devin White for that. He did a very good job of containing Jalen Hurts. Vita Vea, 3 tackles, 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits. He continued to do Vita Vea things. I will always give him a shout out because that man is an absolute brick wall. I also want to give a quick mention to Kevin Minter. 4 total tackles in this game, and I thought he filled in very well for Lavonte David. It wasn't exactly, of course, it's not going to be Lavonte David, but overall, Kevin Minter, I think, did a solid, serviceable job, and I'm happy that we were able to see that out of Minter because I like Minter. I think he's a really good player, a solid, capable veteran that can give you a decent game if you need him to, and that's what he did today, which I love. Rounding out the defensive side of the football, we have Jason Pierre-Paul, which I know some people may question him being on the good list here because he did struggle to contain against Jalen Hurts, but at the end of the day, he had 2 tackles, he had a half sack, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. I'm going to go ahead and put him on the good list because I do think overall he had a decent of enough game. You know, now, given the Buccaneers playing mobile quarterbacks, you may want to have a more athletic guy like Joe Tryon out there over a guy like Jason Pierre-Paul, but I still feel like JPP got the job done and still overall did a good job in my opinion. Speaking of opinions and opinions, Bradley Pinion. What a fun segue. Bradley Pinion, 3 punts, 2 inside the 20. Was a great job there. He pinned back the Eagles in their own territory when it mattered most. Good job for Bradley Pinion. He's having a phenomenal season this year, by the way. So good job to Bradley Pinion for that. Now we move on to the bad list. And guys, to be honest, there wasn't a ton of bad here. Alex Kappa struggled a couple of snaps in pass coverage. He was definitely some iffy play in this game. Brady got hit a couple of times because of him. But besides that, I feel like the offensive line really did do a pretty decent job. I'm going to give them a thumbs up. I would put them on the good list, but you know, I'd be sitting here all night tonight talking about all the good things we could take away from this game. But Alex Kappa did struggle a little bit in this game. Brady did throw a really weird interception that fell right into the hands of the Eagles defender. I don't know if it was a miscommunication with Antonio Brown. I don't know if it was just a bad throw from Tom Brady, but that was kind of one of those weird wonky throws I was talking about that Tom Brady made during this game. He didn't do it a lot, but the interception was weird. Again, that's just me basically nitpicking, if you will. It is what it is. Now we get to the flags. There were 7 penalties for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is around the league average. The problem comes with the yardage. 120 yards off of the 7 penalties. The Eagles offense had 213 yards as an offense as a whole. You add the 120 to that, they had a 300-yard game. It came off of 2 really big flags, one from Dean on a 45-yard pass interference, one from Mike Edwards on a 50-yard pass interference. That was what I was talking about earlier regarding Dean and the one bad play that he had. Again, besides that, I think Dean played a very, very, very good game, but he did have that 45-yard pass interference. Mike Edwards had that 50-yard pass interference. Unfortunate, it did give the Eagles some opportunities to score points. In fact, I believe that really is what made this score what it was of 28-22, was because of those 2 really big flags that put the Eagles in prime scoring position. So unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I do believe the Buccaneers will clean those up. Ross Cockrell dropped a wide open pick 6 on a pass from Jalen Hurts to Miles Sanders. That was just unfortunate to see. Again, I'm kind of nitpicking here, but you get my point. Besides that, Ross Cockrell had a really good game. I just want to go ahead and point that out. Really, shout out to Dean. Shout out to Ross Cockrell, D. Delaney, and Pierre Desir. Those guys stepped up when they needed to, because the last thing I have on my bad list here, guys, is Richard Sherman got hurt, and he got hurt bad. Hamstring injury knocked him immediately out of the game. He immediately went to the locker room. This is not good. Richard Sherman was brought in because of all the injuries to the Buccaneers cornerbacks, and now he's suffering an injury. Absolutely not good. If there are any updates regarding Richard Sherman and what's going on with his injury, you can bet I will be making a video about that. Thank goodness the Bucs have 10 days off. Maybe Sherman will be good to go. Maybe a guy like Sean Murphy-Bunting will be back and ready to go. Who knows? But, yeah, if the Buccaneers are going into the Bears game, let's say, and they have Dean, D. Delaney, Ross Cockrell, and Pierre Desir as their cornerbacks, I don't know if they'll do bad, but you want more stability, right? You want more of a cushion. So hopefully Sherman and maybe somebody else can be ready to go. I'd say Sherman would maybe be the most likely. But that's probably one of the worst takeaways from this game, is there is yet again another injury to the Buccaneers cornerback room. They just can't get a break, right? They just can't get a break. I guess at least Dean came back, and he really, really, really did step up in a big way when they needed him to do that the most. So, again, shout out to Dean for that. He honestly might have been the MVP of the defense tonight. He played that well. But overall, guys, that's it. There was a lot of good, some nitpicks of the bad. Really, the Buccaneers' penalties is what kept the Eagles in this game. Point blank, that's as simple as it is. That is what kept the Eagles into this game, because the defense wasn't playing bad. You had a 45-yard flag on Dean, a 50-yard flag on Edwards, and that opened up the door for the Eagles to score some points. They did, which is why you have the score the way it is right there. But leave your guys' thoughts about this game down in the comment section below. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.